So can you hear me? Send me the response in chat box if you are able to hear. Hello. శ్రీనివాస్ వినపడుతుందా?
హలో
వినపడుతుందా?
వినబడుతుంది సార్.
ఓకే 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 ఓకే. So we'll discuss and iOS media concepts we'll discuss. I mean how to play the audio files and how to play the video files we'll discuss. So in the last class we discussed camera and gallery we discussed in the last class. Today we'll discuss audio and video. We'll see how to play the audio files and how to play the audio files and how to play the video files in Android. Okay. So audio and video concepts we'll discuss today's session. So first thing is if you want to play any audio files if you want. So first we'll create a project. So I'll tell you what exactly my requirement. Let me explain what exactly my requirement. Okay. So my requirement is, imagine this is a device screen. Imagine this is a device screen. Okay. And here I want to create 3 buttons I want to create. So this is a device screen and I want to create 3 buttons I want to create. One is to play the audio file, pause the audio file, play the audio file, pause the audio file, and stop the audio file. So this is my requirement. Okay. So we'll create 3 buttons. We'll create one is to play the audio file. Another thing is pause the audio file, and the last thing is stop playing an audio file. So this is my requirement. Play, pause, and stop. Okay. So we'll create these 3 buttons. We'll create the 3 buttons and we'll configure the click event. We'll configure first. Okay. So we'll create a project. Let's open the Xcode. So create a new Xcode project, a single view application. So specify the project name. Let us take my project name is, first we'll see how to play the audio files, then after that we'll see the video files. So audio test is a project name. Audio test is a project name. Next, create. It's already there. I'm specifying audio test 1. Okay. So audio test 1 is my project name. Let's create the project. Okay. So here, create 3 buttons on the screen. Open this main storyboard and specify the device resolution to mobile. Or select the view controller and specify the size here. A 4 inches device. Okay. So now here we'll create 3 buttons. But what we'll do is, now I want to create 3 images here. My requirement is these 3 are the images. This play button, pause button, and stop button. I want to place 3 images. I want to place. So if you want to place the 3 images, in our previous sessions we discussed how to add the images. So in iOS, okay, there is a folder called X assets. See assets dot there is a folder. Okay, XK assets. So open these assets. Sorry. So in this assets, X assets. So if you want to add any images, if you want to add, let's select the plus symbol, new image set. So specify a name for this one. First thing is a play. Okay, select the play button, play, and we'll add the images. We'll add. So in my previous classes, I downloaded that images I downloaded in my previous class. Okay, already have a few images in my system. This backward, forward, play, and all. Let's drag these images into here 1x. Of course, we had to create different resolution images. We had to create, but right now we are using same image we are using for these three things. Okay, so play button. This is one thing, and we had total. We are having. We need three images: play image we need, pause image we need, and stop image. Okay, so let's add one more image here. Plus new image set. Let's rename this one. You can select from here and we can rename, or just double click here. Pause. Okay, so image asset name is pause. Okay, and we have to create one more thing, new image set. Just this is for multiple resolutions, 1x, 2x, and 3x. But now we don't have that much time, and so for creating the multiple images with different sizes. Okay, so that's why you're using only one single image for three resolutions. Play, pause, and stop. Okay, stop. Okay, so now we add the images we added. We added the images we added into our project. So now to open the storyboard. Okay, so here if you want to draw images, if you want to place images on the screen, so we are having a UI component called UI image view is a component. What is a UI component name? So image view. So drag this one on the screen. Sorry, I think for image view we cannot configure the click event. We cannot configure for image view. So let's take a button only. For button we'll apply the background. Background will apply. So let's take a button. Let's take a button component. Let's take a button component, but don't display any label for this button. Remove this button. Okay, and if you want to set any image, if you want to set, but before the system, first what we have to do is let's select custom here, because we are not using the system images, we are using custom images, our own images we are using. So here specify the type as custom. So if you face any audio problems, anything, please let me know. Okay, okay, so first change the image type from system to custom, because we are not using the system images, we are using our own images we are using. So change that one to custom and specify the here background. Okay, specify the background. First thing is play. Okay, so like this total we need how many images? We need three buttons. We need, so we need three buttons. We need total. Just same. I copied that button and I placed here. That's it. Okay, let's save this one. Change the image for these two things. So here background is pause, stop. Okay, so play, pause, and stop. So now we have to write the logic. My requirement is when user selects the play button, so we have to start playing an audio file. Okay, so we had to start playing an audio file, pause, and stop. So we had to configure the click event. We had to configure for all these three buttons. We had to configure the click event. So let's open this controller. Okay, Okay, so we don't require this did receive memory warning method. If you want, you can remove this method. You can remove. Okay, let's configure the click event for these three buttons. Action UI button as let's take play. Okay, this is one thing. Next, select pause, drag this pause control. So action, so UI button pause. Okay, play, pause, and stop. Okay, so now we have to write the logic. When user selects the okay, so let's open the Swift file. So UI part is completed. We configured the click event also we configured. Now we don't require this user interface. Let's open the Swift file. So vcontroller.swift. Okay. So we created three methods. We created play, pause, and stop. Okay. So now here, when user selects the play button, we had to play an audio file. We had to play. But whatever the audio file he wants to play, so we had to place that audio file. We had to place into our project. Whatever the audio file he wants to play, let's place that audio file into our project. Okay, so in my system there is an audio file. So for example, this saripavu.mp3, this is an audio file in my system. Just drag this audio file into your project. That's it. Drag this audio file into your project. Okay, so once if you drag, let's select this option, copy items into our current project. Okay, just select this one, copy the projects, copy this item into our current project because it's required. Okay, finish. So now it is going to it's required. We need this file into our project, audio test project. Okay, so now we place that file, the audio file we placed into our current project. We place that audio file saripo.mp3. Okay, so now if user select the play button, we have to play an audio file. So here, if you want to play any audio and video files, so we are having a framework called uh, in iOS for playing the audio files and video files. We are having a framework called, so AV Foundation is a framework. What is the framework name? AV Foundation. So this AV Foundation is used for playing the audio and video. AV is nothing but audio as well as the video. So by using AV framework, we can play the audio files and video files. You can play in an iOS. Okay. So first thing is we had to import. So we had to import that AV Foundation. We had to import here. So here, let's write a statement called import AV Foundation. Okay. I written a statement import AV Foundation, but by default you will not get this AV Foundation. I mean this AV Foundation framework by default you will not get. One second, I'll make you as an organizer. If you want, you can record the session at your end. Okay. Yeah. So I made you as a mute, Adinaran Garu and Mahesh. So I made you as a mute. Now can you hear me? Yeah. So here in this view controller class, in this view controller, we are using, so AV foundation class we are using. Okay, but directly we cannot access this AV foundation. So we had to add this AV foundation framework, we had to add to our current project. Okay, so if you want to add any framework, if you want to add, let's select the project, and if you scroll down, you can find an option called here linked frameworks. Scroll down, at end you can find an option called linked frameworks and libraries. Linked frameworks and libraries. So I want to add a library, I want to add. Let's select the play plus option. So here, let's add AV foundation framework. So if you want to play the audio files and video files in iOS, we require this AV foundation we require. So let's add. Okay. So now we added that AV foundation. So now we added that AV foundation framework to our current project we added. Okay. Next. So let's select the view controller. We placed one audio file we placed into our current project, this saripovu.mp3. Now this path we required into our Swift file. Okay, in this play method, first specify the path, first specify the file path, where the file is available. Let's specify the file path first. Where the file is available, first specify the file path, because we place a file into our project, this saripovu.mp3. Okay, so we had to specify that file path, we had to specify first where path is equals to, we already discussed in our WebView class, we discussed how to get the file path. ns bundle dot main bundle dot, there is a method called path from resource is a method. What is the method name? Path from resource is a method. In this path from resource method, we had to specify the file name, we had to specify here. So we placed a file we placed called saripovu.mp3. So just you had to specify the file name here. Saripovu is a file name. Just I specified the file name as path underscore is a file name. Okay. Path underscore is a file name. Okay. So path for resource, specify the file name here. Saripovu is a file name. Dot of the type we had to specify what kind of file it is. The file type is its MP3 file. You don't have to specify dot MP3. You don't have to specify dot MP3, just to specify MP3. That's fine. Okay, just MP3 is fine. You don't have to specify dot MP3. You don't have to specify. Okay, it's a normal path. Okay, but what we had to do is we had to convert this path. We had to convert into URL. We had to convert. So here, where, but here we had to specify, boss, if it is an optional, specify question mark. If you feel like this path is exist, okay, if you feel this path is exist, so let's specify explanatory here, explanatory mark. Okay, so we had to convert this one into URL object, we had to convert. So where URL is equals to ns URL of file URL with path. We had to specify the path object, we had to specify. Okay, but we'll do one thing. So we'll get a requirement of using this one. We'll get a requirement of using this one throughout the program. And what we'll do is this initialization logic will write in the view did load method, because first when you run the code, first it is going to call the view did load method is going to call. So initialization we performed in the view did load method. And another thing is this file URL, you will get a requirement of accessing in your entire code. So rather than declaring this variable inside this view did load method, we'll declare globally, we'll declare var, so URL, okay, URL underscore, you have to specify what kind of value it is. It is a type of what? NS URL. Okay, it is a type of NS URL, and it's also definitely it contains a value. So let's specify the explanatory mark. Okay, so now initialize here. Just nothing was, we changed the local variable, we moved into global variable. That's it. Now here, to play the audio file, to play the audio file, so we are having a class called. So first, let's create an object for var. So audio player of. We are having a class for playing the audio files. That is AV audio player is the class. What is the class name? AV audio player. So it's also mandatory. So we are specifying exclamatory mark. We are specifying. I mean, definitely we'll get the value we'll get. So that's why by specifying this exclamatory mark. So to play the audio files, we are having a class called AV audio player. So here we initialized. I mean, what we call initialization is different. Instantiation is different. Just we declared a variable here. Here just we declared a variable of type AV audio player. Now when user selects the play button, first check whether when user selects the play button, first check whether the audio player is not initialized or not. If audio player is not initialized, our audio player object is double is equals to nil. Nil means empty. Meaning if audio player is empty means what? If audio player is equal to null means meaning value is not initialized. So if you want to play the audio file, if you want to play, so we are having a class called here AV audio player. So AV audio player object is equals to, we are having a class called AV audio player of content of URL. We already specified the URL object here from which file you want to play the audio file. So let's specify the URL object. Let's specify the URL object. But see here, it is giving an error. It is giving error is nothing but it is showing an exception. Error is nothing but it is showing an exception. It is showing. We know that how to handle the exception. So basically, if you take Java or if you take C++ or .NET, if you're getting any exception, we'll put the logic into try catch. We'll put the logic, right. So here also same thing. So if you feel this logic is giving an exception, so put the logic in try catch. So let's see how to handle the try catch in Swift. First, what we had to do is we had to give a statement called do. So do and catch. Okay. Okay. So put that logic do whatever the logic is giving an exception inside the put the statement inside the do and catch. And wherever it is giving an exception, where it is giving an exception, here at this statement it is giving an exception, creating the audio player. There we have to put the logic in try. Okay, so here initializing of this audio player is giving an exception, so that's why put try. I mean, along with the try catch, even we had to add one more statement also called do here. So do catch. Okay, so where it is giving an exception, there put try. Okay, here, in case of Java, we are having a class called exception. In the catch statement, we'll write like this in case of Java. Exception exception E. So if you want to print the exception, we'll write E dot print stack trace. Like that we'll write in case of Java. But here, if you want to print that exception, if you want to print that exception, let's see how to print the exception. Let E as NS error. So now what E contains? E is nothing but an error message now. If you want to print that error message, if you want to print, let's specify print E. That's it. It's going to give the error information. It's going to give. If you want to print that error information, so right print of E, it is going to give that error information. Is going to print in the log. It is going to print that error information. Okay. So now we initialize the audio player object we initialized. We initialize the audio player object we initialized. If audio player is null, if audio player is null, first initialize the audio player object. Initialize the audio player object and play that audio file. Initialize the audio player object and play the audio file. So audio player dot play is the method for start for playing an audio file. And here, when user selects the pause button, we had to write the statement. We had to write if our audio player object is not equals to nil. I mean, it has to. It is if it is playing an audio file, and let's see, is there any statement is playing or something? We'll see whether is there any statement for playing. Just I want to know whether it is playing or not. Okay. If both conditions are true, if it is not equals to nil and if it is playing an audio file, if both conditions are true, then let's pause playing an audio file. Pause playing an audio file. So audio player dot pause. Okay. Maybe it's not accepting this double ampersand. Let's do one thing. If it is not equals to null, if media player contains any, better. Okay. If it is playing an audio file, then pause. Okay. We'll write the same statement in stop also. Write the same statement in stop also. If it is playing an audio file, then we'll stop playing an audio file. So audio player dot stop. Okay. So now we'll test the application. Let's specify the resolution here because we taken 4 inches and iPhone 5. Okay. Let's run the application. Okay. So app is installed. Let's select the play button. It is playing an audio file. You can hear, right? Okay. So now it is playing an audio file. It is playing. So once if you select the pause button, so now the audio file is paused. Okay. So audio file is what? Paused. And again, if you select the play button, So I selected stop button, I selected now. So now the audio file is stopped. Again, if we select play button, it is not playing an audio file. Reason is because we specified here if it is playing, because now it's not playing, right? If it is playing, then we selected pause button and stop button. We had to do one thing here. After calling the stop button, we had to reinitialize that audio player object. We had to reinitialize, or let's select the audio player object is equals to nil. After this stop method, what we are doing is we are resetting that object. We are resetting audio player dot nil. Okay, audio player is equals to nil. So if it is nil, again it is going to reinitialize the object. Again it will play the audio file from initial position. It will play the audio file. Okay, so are you getting that audio file? Send me the response. I selected play button, I selected. Can you listen this audio file? సరిపోవు మాటలెన్నైనా నేను వర్ణించి ఒకసారి పిలిచేందుకు చాలదుగా ఎంతైనా సమయం ఆగదుగా. So now the audio file is stopped. Okay, and again if you select the play button, సరిపోవు కోటి కనులైనా సరిపోవు లక్ష ఎదలైనా నిన్ను దర్శించి దరి చేరి బల. I selected pause button, I selected. So once if you select pause button, audio file is paused. Again if you select play button, it has to play from the initial location. Actually it's not playing. Okay, these two things are working fine. Play and stop both are working fine. Now we have to check pause. There is some problem with pause playing an audio file. If audio player dot e is playing, okay, so our logic is correct only if it is playing an audio file. Let's pause playing an audio file. Audio player dot pause. Just I'm checking once. So play and stop both are working fine. సరిపోవు కోటి కనులైనా సరిపోవు లక్ష ఎదలై. Pause. But stop is working fine. సరిపోవు కోటి కనులైనా సరిపోవు లక్ష. Stop and again play. సరిపోవు కోటి కనులైనా. Okay, so even the pause is also working fine, but again it's not playing an audio file. It's not playing. So let me explore why it is not playing an audio file. So rather than spending the time on it, okay, so I'll explain you in the next class why it is not playing an audio file after the pause. Okay, so this is this is playing an audio files in Swift. If you want to place any audio files, let's place that audio file into your project. And so briefly explain what I did. And first it is going to call the view did load method is going to call. So in this method, first we got the file path we got. If you want to get any file path, if you want to get, this is a path nsbundle.main.bundle.path for resource. I specified the file name, I specified in double quotes, and what kind of file it is. It is a mp3 file. Okay, and it's a normal string object path. So we had to convert into URL object, we had to convert. So that's why globally we created object for ns URL class. Globally we created object. Okay, so URL is equals to ns URL of file with URL. Let's specify the path, your string path. Okay, so now we specified we are having a file URL. We are having to play the audio files in iOS. We are having a class called AV audio player is the class for playing an audio files. Okay, so we declared AV audio player class, we declared. Okay, and so once if we select the play button, anyway, initially just we declared a variable, so that's why by default you will get as nil, you will get, I mean null you will get. Okay, so if it is null, we are creating a new object we are creating, but at this statement it is giving an exception, it is giving. So in iOS, to handle the exception, so we are having a try catch mechanism. But first open the do statement. Wherever you are giving, wherever which statement is giving an exception, so there you try, and whenever it is giving, whenever if it will give any exception, so this catch block is going to call. Okay, so if you want to print that exception message, if you want to print, so this is a statement. Let we taken on variable, we taken e, and so get that error message. Okay, and print that one. So I'm remaining these two methods, pause, and once if you select the stop button, we have to reinitialize from the initial location. So that's why again we reinitialize the media player is equals to nil. So that whenever you call the play method, so it is null, I mean nil. So that's why again it will play from the initial location. Okay. So we'll see the pause method, why it is not playing after the pause. Okay. So now we'll discuss the next one we'll discuss, that is a video file. If you want to play any video file in iOS, so how to play that video file we'll discuss. So we use the same framework. We use AV Foundation framework for playing the video files. Okay, but now you don't need to create any controls. Just will here I want to display a video file. I want to display. I want to display a video file. I want to display here, and just for demonstration, just I want to create a simple play button. I want to create one a play button I want to create here. So, and once if we select the play button, I want to create one play button I want to create. So once if we select the play button, I want to play the video file I want to play here. This is my requirement. Simple, we'll create a play button, we'll create. So once if we set the play button, we'll play the video file we'll play here. We'll play the video file we'll play. Okay, let's see how to play the video files. Closing this project. Let's create a new project. Single view application. I'm creating a project with a name called video view test is a project name. Okay. So video test one is a project name. Next. So open the assets. So main your storyboard first. Specify the view controller, specify the size of the screen. I'm taking 4 inches screen. I mean 320 is the width, 480 is the height for this 4 inches device. Okay. So here, first we'll create one play button we'll create first. First we'll create one play button we'll create here. So it's an image. So what we'll do is, so select this X assets, select this tab plus a new image set. So let's specify the image name. Let's take it's a play. Okay. Just we'll add one play image we'll add. Just we'll add one play image. Okay. So now open the UI. So here let's create a button. Okay. So let's create a button. Remove the text for this one. Remove the text for this button, and we'll apply a background image. We'll apply here. So background. We'll apply a play image. We'll apply as a background. for this button. Okay, so now here let's configure the click event for this play button. So everyone is getting the same issue. Video is not proper. Is it video is clear for everyone? Okay. So maybe problem at your end, Rutuja. No. Okay. So let's try to adjust because maybe mine also very slow, I guess. Okay. But don't worry. I'll send a video file also. I'll upload into drive folder. I'll share you the drive folder. Okay. So just we create a play button we created. But if you want to play the video files here, this control will create this control will create through programmatically we'll create this control. Okay, so it's called as AV control, audio video control. So we'll create this frames will this will create this frame will create through our code will create this frame. Okay, okay, just we create a play button we created. So let's open that Swift file. Let's configure let's configure the click event for this play button. So let's configure the click event for this play button. Okay, so here let's drag this component action play. Okay, so now we configure the click event we configured for this play button we configured the click event. So this is only the UI. Just we create a play button we created. Once if we click the play button we had to play that file we had to play. So let's open the Swift code. So now here we discussed, right, if you want to play the audio files video files. So first we had to import this the framework we had to import called AV Foundation framework. If you want to place audio files and video files, we are having a framework called AV Foundation. But if you want to play the video files, if you want to play along with this AV Foundation, so we need this AV kit also we need. Along with this AV Foundation for playing the video files, we need AV kit framework also we require. Just one second. So we require this AV kit also we required for playing the video files. But first we had to add that framework, that AV kit and AV Foundation frameworks we had to add. So let's select the video test. Okay, let's select the video test. Okay, the main project, root project. So scroll down. So linked frameworks. Okay, so add a framework here. Let's select the plus option. You can add any framework. So here we required. So we required here one is AV Foundation. We required AV Foundation framework. Okay, and what is another one? AV kit, AV Foundation framework and AV kit. So we need these two frameworks we required. Okay, so AV kit framework and AV Foundation framework. Okay, both we required these two things. Okay, so same like our audio player, whatever the file you want to play, video file. Let's place that video file into this project, video test one. Okay, so what are the video file you wants to play, let's place that video file into this video test project. So in my system there are some few video files are there. So we'll take a video file. Let's take a video file here. In my system there are few video files are there. If it is a small video file, it will be fine because record.mp4 files. Okay, there are few video files are there. This is one video file in my system, vid.mp4. Okay, this is one video file in my computer. Okay, so what I will do is, let's move this video file into your project, video view test. Let's move that project into video view test. Okay, so here don't forget to select this copy items. I mean copy that current video file into our project. Okay, and we know how to get that file path. Okay, so let's specify path is equals to, we discussed a lot of times how to get the file path from the project. Path is equals to, what is the syntax? ns bundle dot main bundle dot main bundle dot path for resource. In this path for resource, specify the file name first, which file you want to play. So I want to play the video file vid. Okay, what kind of video, what type of format it is you have to specify. The format is, so dot, mp4 format. You need to specify dot, directly specify the extension. It's a mp4 file. And it's mandatory, so we have to specify this exclamatory mark. It's not an optional, it's a mandatory value, so we specified exclamatory mark. Okay, so we got the, it's a normal string object, but basically we required, it's a URL object we required. So globally we'll create a variable var URL of, it's a type of ns URL. Okay, so it's also same thing, it's a mandatory. So URL is equals to, we are having a class called ns URL of file URL with path of, let's specify the path object. Okay, so this is a way to get the file object. So now you'll get the file object. We stored that file object into this URL. We stored that file object. We stored that file object into what? URL. We stored the file object. So now here, if you want to place, if you want to play the video files, if you want to play, first of all, we had to create this frame. We had to create. First of all, we had to create this one. This frame we had to create for playing the video files. Okay, so for this one, what we'll do is first, so we are having a class called AV player view controller is the class for creating that frames, for displaying the video frames. There is a class called what? AV player view controller. So let's create an object for, so AV controller is equals to, okay, so let AV, so controller is equals to, there is a class called AV player view controller is a class. So let's create an object for this class, AV player view controller. So for this AV controller dot view dot frame is equals to, we want to create this frame, we want to create this one, we have to create. Okay, so for this one, AV control dot view dot frame is equals to, we have to create the frame, we have to create. So there is a method called, there is a class called cgrect_make is a method. What is the method name? cgrect_make. We had to specify what is the x position, what is the x position, what is the y position, what is the x position, what is the y position, what is the width of this frame, what is the width of this frame, and what is the height of this frame. So we have to specify these four properties. We have to specify. Okay, let's specify x position. I'm specifying from 50. Sorry, x position is 0. Okay, from 0 I want to place x position, but y position I want to play from 50. I want to play the y position. So let's specify the y position 50, and so we have to specify the width. We have to specify. We know that entire screen width is 320 pixels is the entire screen width, and I want to create the height of this frame is 200 is the height. I mean, we specified this frame has to start from the 0 position. X is 0 we specified. 0 comma height we specified what? From 50 we specified, because anyway you'll get the battery symbol and all you will get in the header section. So that's why we started from 50 position. We are starting, and length is 320 pixels, 320 entire screen width. Height is what? 200 we specified, 200 pixels. Okay, so now we are having the file path we are having. Okay, we created a frame also we created. Okay, but we had to add this frame. We had to add to our current screen. We had to add that frame to our current screen. Self.view.self.view. There is a method called add subview of this av controller dot view. I mean, we had to add this frame, boss. Individually we created this frame, we created or view we created. We had to add this one to our current screen. So self.view.add subview of av controller dot view. Okay, I mean, we created this view we created now. Okay, so now we had to play the audio file. Now we had to play the audio file, so we specified the file path also we specified. For playing the video files, now here we have to play the video files. For playing the video files, we are having a class called av player is the class name. So let's create an object for av player. First, create an object for av player. Av player. So it's also mandatory. So we'll specify this one. Experiment. So now here initialize this player object. Player is equals to av player of URL. Let's specify the URL object, because we already stored the URL. We already stored this one where the video file is available. We already specified the path. We specified URL. Okay, so now here this player, this video player view where you want to display, you have to specify that one. That is av controller dot player is equals to our av player. I mean, whatever it is playing in this av player, that view I want to display on the av controller. We created one control. I mean, we controlled this view we created. So we want to display that player view. We want to display on this one, on this view. Okay, that's what the last statement. Av controller dot player is equals to player. So now here, when user selects the play button, so our av player object dot, there is a method called play is a method. So once if you call the play method, so it will play the video files, it will play. So now we'll test the application. Let's see. Android 5. Okay, So one second, we got some exception. We got unexpectedly found nil while unwrapping an optional value. Maybe file name we got as empty. We got Rahul Rajesh. If anyone is joined for Android, okay. So wait for 5 to 10 minutes because still the iOS class is going on. Okay. So wait for 5 to 10 minutes, then I'll start the Android session. I'll start. Okay. So we are getting an exception. We are getting here unexpectedly found nil while unwrapping an optional value. I mean, here we are getting an exception. It is unable to find this vid.mp4. It is unable to find this vid.mp4. It's unable to find. I have to check that out. nsbundle.mainbundle.vidmp4. So let's do one thing. We'll place another file. We'll place another file into this project. Video test. Yeah. Maybe that file name is wrong. Whatever we taken initially, vid.mp4. But now we place maybe space. Maybe it contains a space like that, extra space. Okay. So there is no problem with our code. Maybe problem with the file. Okay. So now we placed a file. We placed. See, we got our own video view. We got here. So now if we select the play button, so it will play the video file. It will play. So it is playing in a video file. It is playing. Okay. So this is playing the video files in iOS. Okay. So let me explain briefly what we did. So for playing the video files, we need two frameworks we required. One is the AV Foundation we required. Another thing is AV Kit. We required two frameworks we required, AV Foundation and AV Kit. Okay. And we know when you select the first, when the screen is started, this view did load method is going to call. In this method, we are taking the file path. nsbundle.mainbundle.path for a resource is the method name. Specify the file name and its format. It's a normal path you will get here. We are converting that one into URL with this statement. Next, after that, what we are creating? We are creating one frame we are creating. If you see this project video view test one. So we created this frame we created initially. This frame we created, AV controller, view frame is equals to with starting exposition is 0, height is 50, and its total screen width is 320 and height is 200. And we added that view, we added to our current screen. Okay. And if you want to play the video files, there is a class called AV player is a class. Okay. So this is about playing a video file. Okay. Uh, Practice this audio and video. Okay. So practice this audio and video concept, and I'll upload this video file. I'll upload into Google Drive, and I'll share you the path. I'll share you. Okay. So thank you guys. See you tomorrow. Any queries today's session? Any queries in today's session? No. Okay. Then. So thank you, sir. I'll upload into Drive folder. I'll upload. We added three images for supporting different screen sizes. See, iPhone contains different resolutions, right? Okay, for supporting the multiple resolutions, we added three images. We added. Okay. In our next class, we'll get the complete clarity about that. What is the iOS screen resolutions and all. Okay. So okay then. Thank you. And so iOS people you can leave. And if you are interested to listen Android, you can listen. No problem. Okay. So thank you, sir.